welcome to another up close video. So today's video is looking at the Rotating Memoirs from Tonic, and it's a really cool die set that creates like a mini little Rolodex that has fixed cards that are on it, and it fits eight cards on the system, and obviously you can do them double-sided as well, so it's kind of like a little 16 card sort of a Rolodex thing. And it creates such a sturdy, cool little gift that you can give someone, and it's also like a gift to yourself, letting yourself like have the time to make one as well, because they're really fun to make. So, if you've never heard of a Rolodex before, this is a Rolodex. It's not actually a Rolodex. This one is called a Rotamate, but I bought it maybe 5 or 6 months ago, because I wanted to be able to have this on my desk. I haven't put all the cards on it yet. This one holds 1,000 cards, so it's going to take me a long time to do. But I just wanted to have something so that on a day where I can't do anything creative because I need to be on the computer or something, I could just make one of these cards if I want to, and just create some kind of little inspirational quote, and I can put the date on it as well if I want to, so I know when that was and everything. And I just thought it would be a cool thing to have on your desk, to be like a little, maybe a memory of a technique that you tried and that you know works really well and stuff. For example, one of these here, this one. So on the 3rd of September, I was playing around with Arteza acrylic paints on the jelly plate, and I found a magazine called The World of Interiors that you can do this really cool magazine transfer technique with. And so this is actually a magazine transfer of the index page of that magazine, The World of Interiors, and I thought, well, why don't I just make myself a little card so I remember that it was around that time, you know, 3rd of September 2019, that I figured out that technique and got it to work, and what magazine I was using. So, you know, it kind of reminds you of techniques, but also like this one here, this says September the 2nd 2019. This was the same kind of thing that I created a card making video of when Simon Says Stamp first asked me to use any of their products in my videos. So I thought, you know, I want to document that. So that was 2nd of September 2019. This one I just fancied having a play and creating a little card that's a little bit jelly printed on. I also did another one using some like Tim Holtz little word stickers and stuff, some glimmer paste, all sorts of different things. I did that in August. So, you know, like loads of different things like this. This one was just washi tape that I put on there ready for whenever I want to finish that one. I also, like this one, this was when I was first playing with the mosaic dies from Tonic, September the 7th, 2019. So I had some die cuts left over of the mosaic dies, so I just used a bit of that on one of my cards. And then I also pre-did a load of sort of jelly printed ones, so I've already got an instant background there. So for example, say after making these Rolodexes, if I had like this little square of this little gorgeous flower design, I could stick that on there and then remind myself of when it was I was creating these like rotating memoir kind of things. So I just thought it was a really cool project idea, and I'm so thrilled that Tonic have brought out a kind of Rolodex sort of project or die set that you can actually create smaller ones with as well. So this is going to be like probably a 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 year kind of a project, but it works in exactly the same way. That obviously I haven't got enough cards on it at the moment to get things to sort of flip around it, but if you put them up here a bit more, you can kind of see that's how like a real Rolodex works. They roll around on these 2 discs in the centre. But with the Tonic Rolodex, or the Rotating Memoir, you have fixed cards. So you have 8 fixed cards, and you turn it and they all flip round after each other. So it's just like a smaller version and a more manageable, completable project that you can give as a gift, as opposed to starting your own real Rolodex. And an advantage of doing or getting this kind of a die set is you can cut these out of whatever cardstock you want to. You can do it from plain cardstock and decorate them. You can cut it from any backgrounds you've made, you know, like over the years. If you've got any bits and pieces left over that you want to use, you can cut them out of this. With a real Rolodex, you have to use the Rolodex cards. They do make dies that have those little indents in that, you know, fit on a Rolodex, but mine isn't a real Rolodex. It's a Rotamate, so they're little bits are further apart, so you can't actually get a die that does that one. So you kind of have to work on the actual thin paper that comes with them. But with a die set like this, you can work on whatever cardstock paper that you like to use, which is obviously a good bonus. And it's an achievable project that you could definitely get done within a week, like depending how much you craft. I mean, both of these ones have probably been 4 days, you know, for both of them. So they're a really nice project to work on. So this main die set, there are 3 die sets, I think, that are coming out in this like small little release, and the main die set gives you absolutely everything you need to create a Rolodex. You get this portion is the spindle, these are the turning handles on the side, this is how the turning spindle attaches to this portion of the main the main rotating memoir system. So you have everything you need, and you even have a card. So this is like the little card that would stick onto your spindle, and you'd have 8 of them and it rotates round, and you get a generic square one with the actual die set. However, if you really like using this, or you like using a mix of shapes, or you just want to have more variety, there are 2 separate die sets that give you some more options. So you have one that gives you this kind of parenthesis, sort of a bracket, with a matte and layer, a little tag, the little word friends, a butterfly, and a little interlinking heart motif. And that comes with this one, which is kind of like, I describe that as like a gravestone kind of edge to it. And this one has obviously a matte and layer. You also have a little pocket, so it actually cuts a little pocket with the glue tab, so you can stick a pocket on, and you get the word create and another little square that mats inside that. And these all work on this system. And then the other die set is this one with the inverted corners. You have a small sort of like kind of Polaroid kind of a die. You've got a really cool cog in there, which looks really nice, a little banner and another smaller rectangle. And then this one has the tab on it. And you get 2 more words in this. You get inspire and smile, and you get a little bunting and a banner as well, and obviously the matte and layer that goes on that too. So if you, I mean, I think just the main die set would be a great addition to your stash, because you can use absolutely anything that you already have to decorate them. But if you're really just into creating like memory book kind of things, these are going to be brilliant, and you could also use these in your actual memory book. So like these could be little flaps that maybe you stick 5 above each other in your actual memory books, and they can all flap up and down and stuff. So they're going to work. I mean, even if you didn't go for this, even if you didn't want the rotating memory or memoir system, just these little cards would work really nicely just in any of your memory books as well. And this obviously goes with memory book 2, being those little inverted corners on there too. Okay, so a closer look at the big die set. For the turning handles, you get this gorgeous little octagon that's like got a waffle design kind of in it, that you can use to decorate the end of the handle, but you can also use to decorate your panels as well, which I'll show you. And then you have all of the pieces to completely decorate the actual mechanism, or like housing for the rotating mechanism as well. So you have all the different pieces to completely decorate the sides. You can use, obviously you can layer up a lot as well. You've got lots of different mats and layers, so you can do a lot of fancy kind of mirror card, and then normal card, and then paper piecing as well. Especially this would look gorgeous paper pieced, because it's all squares and little triangles, and this one's just triangles. You can mix and match these. These outside rectangles will be perfect for your stamped sentiments as well, or if you want to add handwritten elements onto your actual cards, you could die cut these little rectangles and write little things on them as well, or the date or whatever. You also get like a little square nesting set, because that goes on the square card, and you get that gorgeous flower that's inside it, and I've actually used that on a couple of my actual cards that go in the system as well. And that flower is repeated on the side of the design too, with that crisscrossy pattern. And then everything else is a functional die really, because you have the main outside base, you have the two that create the spindle, and then these create the way of attaching it to the base. And if you want to see in depth, I think it's about a 40-minute long video, but if you want to see in depth of exactly how this goes together, how many bits you need to cut and everything, there will be a second video that's going to be the construction of the rotating memoir as well. And I have the one filmed because I had to do them in the opposite order because I'd only made one, because I was going to do the other one in the construction. So I'll now show you the two that I have made. So this one, I kept the whole housing of it really simple, and it is just all the bits and pieces cut out of white. And then to make it a little bit different, I took some Cloud9 Dream Drops and just patted it on with my fingers, and then took some chalk white stone drops and did that as well in just random places, just to make it look a little bit different than just being white on white. But I wanted to keep the whole base of it nice and neutral so that the cards really shone on it, because I kind of done this one like an art journal kind of a thing. Basically how I'm going to be using my actual Rolodex, and done like, but for this one I've done more like inspirational quotes or just nice words or nice phrases that I've got from different Tonic die sets. So like this one says, "You are awesome," which is from the stamp set. I meant stamp sets, not die sets earlier. It's from the stamp set that came out with the garden party release on the Tonic website. And then that's another one that says, "You make the world a nicer place." And this one I've used that flower design, and I've actually infilled it with some dream drops and some vintage drops as well, and swirled them together. And again, I've done another one there where I used dream drops and stone drops and swirled them together. And that's another sentiment off of one of those floral stamp sets. Then I've used some of the die cut words that come in the extra die sets, and then "Smile, you can do this." This was a piece that I created a while ago using the oval pansy floral aperture die. Stuck it onto acetate and then used stone drops and dream drops behind it to give a really cool look. There is going to be a video, a card making video using this technique. I actually pinched this from the stuff that I was using for that video, but I still haven't finished filming it, and I started filming it maybe 8 months ago or something ridiculous. So hopefully that will get finished one day. And then I've got "Inspire," "I believe in you," "Create, be brave," and it's got the little cogs on there. And all the backgrounds are done with just watercolours and Tonic stencils and stamps and all sorts of different bits and pieces, just to create a cool inky background. And I also use glacier paste on them as well, and dream drops and stuff too. This is where you can sort of bring in the end decoration from the handle and bring it onto the card. This one is actually 2 cards, and I ripped the bottom off of one of them to give a 2-tone kind of effect. That's a little butterfly from one of the extra add-on die sets as well. That's using 3 of the words from the add-on die sets: "Inspire, Smile, Create." So loads of different things you could do with them. And, oh yeah, these solid octagons are from the waste from the washers that create the mechanism for the spindle to sit onto the main rotating base as well. And yeah, I just really like how this one turned out. I just thought it would be nice to create some kind of inspirational, nice thing that you could have on your desk. And this is basically just like a quicker, smaller version of what my main Rolodex will actually be. But this is one that, you can finish in a couple of days, rather than it being a sort of 5-year-long project, really. So that's that one. And then this one, I don't know if it'll really make sense to anybody else, but I thought it was quite a cool idea. So the gnome stamp set that Tonic brought out really recently, I just love the gnomes, and I thought, how could I create something that would maybe be more for the children, that, might give them something to focus on during a half-term holiday or just a week of the holidays or something. So I thought, this has got 8 pieces to it. There's 7 days in a week. You can have the title card and then 7 days of the week. So I did a whole year of gnome activities, and then used the stamp set to decide what the activities would be depending on what the pictures are in the gnome stamp set. So I've done a whole week of gnome activities, and then the first one goes on Monday we do the gardening, and then on Tuesday we meet up with our best friends, and then on Wednesday, maybe I should zoom you in so you can see them a bit better. On Wednesday we make a wish in a wishing well, because there's a wishing well in that stamp set. On Thursday we clean the house, because there's a gorgeous little toadstool house. Then on Friday we give a gift to the neighbours, and then on Saturday we have fun and play, and then on Sunday we tell someone how much we love them. So I just thought it was a really sweet way, and all of the days of the week are from one of the bullet journaling stamp sets that I'll make sure is linked below the video, and then all of the rest of the words I just typed it on the computer and then printed it out, so it's just on printer paper and I cut it into strips. So really easy to do, and you can have it saying whatever you want then. But I just thought it was a really sweet idea of, I think I would have really liked this when I was little, you know, having an activity to do each day, even if it doesn't take very long, you know, like knocking on the door and giving something you've baked to the neighbours or something. You know, it's just a nice way of keeping little people busy and stuff. So I thought that was a cool one too. And I also decorated the side of this one as well. And I wanted to show how you don't have to have all of the cut out panels if you don't want to. You can just keep them plain, and this one I put some glacier paste on there, Sea Sprite glacier paste, and a bit of stenciling as well, just to give it a little bit of interest so it wasn't just plain blue. And then to create the side pieces, I die cut this side portion from white card, and then just stamped on the images and used a black pen to draw countryside behind them and stuff, so they just fitted on nicely and brought the design to the outside as well. So and this is the one that I make from start to finish in my construction video too. So I hope you enjoyed this up close look at the Rotating Memoir die set from Tonic, and I hope you give this project a go, because it's so cool. Like, as soon as I found out what this die set was and stuff, I was like, I wonder how that's going to work. Like, how on earth do you make a Rolodex from just card? And I was thinking, I don't know how that's going to be strong enough, but it is so sturdy. And I mean, this was the first one I made, and when I put it together, I was like, wow, you know, it's like you bought it in a shop, really. It's, you know, it looks so professional once you've put it together. It's so good. So I really think you're going to have fun making these if you invest in the die set. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!